प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते महाविष्णु गोस्वामीति नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण भगवान की जय ब्रजमंडल परिक्रमा की जय जय गौर प्रेमानंदे. So thank you very much for joining in today, and thanks once again for all the organizers to take us to this wonderful Braj Mandal Parikrama. So today I thought we will have some visual delights apart from hearing about the different places where Krishna performed his pastimes. So yesterday we heard about Shamakund and Radhakund. And today we'll move on to another wonderful place in Vrindavan. So I'll just share my screen. Am I audible and is my screen seen? Any thumbs up or?
Yes, very clear.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Right. So now the first few slides, can I request devotees to be interactive? So I might ask a few questions or ask that you read something, just a small little thing. So whoever feels inspired, you can please unmute and read. So just before we start off, I thought it's good to understand what are we doing and why are we doing it. Of course, we in one way we know we want to drown ourselves in hearing about Krishna's pastimes, but it's just good to sometimes remind ourselves, what are we doing actually, and what is the purpose of doing all this. So I have one slide just to help us remember. Slides. Yeah. So could somebody please read the. Anybody?
We can get rid of the impurities of the heart by turning our consciousness towards Lord Krishna. With mind, we can think of Krishna and project our consciousness towards him. Hare Krishna.
So it's said that all we have to do is just think about Krishna. And the whole process that Prabhupada has given us is Krishna consciousness. It's about remembering, it's about thinking, it's about being attracted towards this wonderful personality called Krishna. So when we actually listen more to his pastimes, to his activities, our mind naturally becomes attracted. And when we think about Krishna's pastimes, we are actually associating with Krishna. I mean, we are not that purified at the moment whereby we can enter into Krishna's pastimes, unlike the pure devotees of the Lord. But we have that option of actually getting our mind and soul connected to Krishna. So as we hear about Krishna's pastimes here, our body is here, right, in Auckland, in our respective houses. But what happens to our mind? Our mind and soul actually gets connected to Krishna. And that is what gives us that bliss. So as we hear about some of the stories today, just experience how the mind and soul actually travels. And I've got some visuals to help that process. We'll see how it goes. So there is a nice verse that we read in Bhagavad Gita, for those of you who have who remember, in chapter 5, text 26, in the purport, Prabhupada gives this shloka. It says, Darshana dhyana samsparshai matsya kurma vihangamaha swani apatyani pushnanti tathaham api padmaja. So it is said that by vision, that is darshan, by dhyan, by meditation, and by sparsha, by touch, fish, tortoise, and birds, they maintain their offspring. Similarly, also I do, O Padmaja. And Prabhupada writes very nicely, just to explain that verse, that the fish brings up its offspring simply by looking at them. Right? So if the fish can bring up its offspring by looking, why can't Krishna accept our offering by looking at it and making it prasad? Sometimes, when children ask us, they say, oh, no, Krishna eats. But in our own heart, are we really convinced that Krishna is eating? We have to be. And these are evidences that Prabhupada is giving us. So that's number one. Number two, the tortoise brings up its offspring simply by meditation. So the eggs of the tortoise are laid on land, and the tortoise meditates on the eggs while he's away. Similarly, the devotee in Krishna consciousness, although far from the Lord's abode, can elevate himself to that abode simply by thinking of it constantly, by engagement in Krishna consciousness. So just by thinking about Krishna, just by thinking about Krishna's holy dham, we actually get transported there. Now, this is the theory. We have to experience it. Unless we experience, we will not get that bliss. And until we get that experience, we will not feel the next part, where Prabhupada says, he does not feel the pangs of material miseries. This state of life is called Brahma Nirvana, or also it is said in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, Na Shochati Na Kakshata. Or the absence of material miseries due to being constantly immersed in the Supreme. So this hearing about Krishna, this hearing about dham is very important. So sometimes what happens is, we should have this desire, this intense attachment to go to the dham. But we should also be careful that, sometimes I know a lot of devotees, because of lack of time, we try and cover all the dhams in one visit. We've got maybe 15 days, 20 days, 1 month, and then we go a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. We want to get the maximum, which is good. But what happens sometimes is you spend maybe 2-3 days in one dham, 2-3 days in the other dham. And then when you come back home, how much of the dham or how much of the pastimes do you actually remember? That is very important. I'm not saying we have to remember everything. Our memories are not that. But at least we should remember certain important pastimes of the dham. Otherwise, what is the point in going to the dham and hearing from the sadhu? There's no point. And similarly, we should not think that just because I've been to the dham, I've done my job. We have gone to the dham, that's great. But now we should also meditate on the dham, meditate on the activities the Lord did in the dham, as we hear from the sadhus over there. So that is very important. So in a situation like this, where we are not able to go, even though we want to, what do? Can we be in the dham? Yes, obviously that experience will be not as much as being in the dham, but it is no less either. Why? Because in the dham, what do? You see the places and you hear. What are we doing now? We are also hearing and seeing the places virtually. So it is not different. It is not different from being in the dham. Just like when we chant Krishna's name, it's the consciousness. If we think we are with Krishna, then we are with Krishna. But if we think I'm just chanting some words or some noises, then it's just a noise. So similarly, when we listen to Krishna's pastimes, especially in the holy dhams, and especially Brajamandal Parikrama, we must focus on the katha. And we must try and remember or take some notes so that it stays with us, because we forget, And as we go through this Mandal Parikrama, there will be so many pastimes, so many places. And at the end, when we try to recollect, what was there, and we have nothing to refer back to. So that's a bit of a potential that we had to take the Lord with us, and we just lost it. So I would urge everybody to keep a notebook or whatever helps you to remember, so that at the end of this parikrama, we have certain things that actually touch our heart and remains with us. So this is the Rajamandal Parikrama map. I don't expect you to read or see anything because it's all over the place. But I've just marked, oops, it's just moved a little bit. So over here, if you can see my cursor, is Gokul. This is Vrindavan. Sorry, the things have gone up a little bit. And this is a place called Nandagram, which is going to be our focus of discussion today. So we can see that Krishna was born in Gokul, right? Gokul? No, he was not born in Gokul. He was born in Mathura. Of course, which is the palace of or the prison house of and then he was carried across the Yamuna to Gokul, which is here. Right. And then at a certain time, they migrated from Gokul to Nandagram. And that's what we will see. So just to have a better understanding, why did they have to go from Gokul to Nandagram? So as you can see, I don't have to ask, no quizzes here. There were some demons that Krishna started killing straight away as soon as he was born. He killed Putana, I think, on the 5th or 6th day that he was born. And then he killed another demon. Any guesses which is the next demon he killed? Anybody? No? Looking at the picture, you'll obviously know. So next demon he killed was Shatakasur.
Shakatasur.
Yes. And then he also killed Trinavarta. And then he did the pastime that we glorify, not one day. It's not enough. Then he did a pastime of this particular Leela. One day is not enough. So we have 28 days to glorify that Leela. And which is that Leela? The Damodar Leela that is going on right now. Obviously, the later part of Damodar Leela, as Krishna was bound, in the bound condition, how he freed these two sons of Kuvera, Nalakuver and Manukure. So he obviously didn't kill them like as demons as such, but he delivered them from their mentality, the ignorant mentality that they were in. And this particular incident of migrating from Gokul to Nandagram happened immediately after the Damodar Leela. So as we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 11th chapter from text 21 onwards, is after this Damodar Leela, all the elders, they came and they had this discussion amongst each other with Nanda Maharaj that see, ever since Krishna was born, and we've been seeing that Gokul is being completely infested with all these demons. So there must be something. So it is not a safe place anymore, because if we keep living here, there'll be more demons who will be coming. So we need to do something about it. And that's when, at that point of time, to ensure that they don't invite any more demons, and to ensure that Krishna is taken to a much safer place where he can be protected and seen at all the times, they decided that they will migrate from Gokul to Nandagram. So this is the premise. That's why the whole village, normally 1 or 2 families migrate or the king migrates. But in this instance, the whole village migrated. So imagine, one whole village suddenly empty and then going and settling somewhere else. Inconceivable. So this is where they went. And that is Nandagram. At that time, Krishna was about 3 years, a few months old. And he was in this place till he reached the age of 9. Then, as we know, he was taken to Mathura again. So in this Nandagram, there are quite a few places. But for today's discussion and for the time that we've got, I'll perhaps highlight just on a few important places. So the intent is that when we think about Nandagram, at least we can remember some places. So at the end of today's session, if you can remember some places and some of the pastimes, I think that will be a great success. So I've just demarcated them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll be talking about 6 places in total in Nandagram, of which 3 of the places are very significant and 3 places are also there, but not so much pastimes involved around that. And then at the end of the session, we will see from this Nandagram, Vrajamandal Parikrama, apart from hearing the pastimes of the Lord, what is it that we can take home? What do we learn from these pastimes? Because as we understand, the activities of Krishna are not just to attract our attention only. They are definitely required to attract our attention, but eventually we have to apply those instructions and the learnings and the lessons in our life. And the same we will try and attempt to do here. So Nandagram, as we just saw, they moved from Gopal. They had to cross this Yamuna river again, and then go all the way to Nandagram, which is here, which is more the northwest of the Mathura district. That's a Mathura map. So it just gives us things in the right perspective. And Vrindavan obviously is in the middle. And you see Barsana is over here, very close to Nandagram. So you'll see that Radha and Krishna had their pastimes here as in that particular section. So it was very accessible for both to meet. And then this was the Govardhan, where we looked at Radha Kund and Shyamkund at this part. So this is where all these activities happened. And on the right hand side, you can see the carts in which they were actually transporting themselves to migrate to Nandagram. So this is the map of Nandagram. I don't expect you to remember it, but I've just circled the important places that we'll be talking about. So Nandagram, especially the center, if you see, that's where is the main aspect of Nandagram. That is the palace of Nanda Maharaj. On the top of Nanda Bhavan, you will see Pavan Sarovar, which is this one. Right. So that is an area where actually Sanatan Goswami has his bhajan kuti, and it's also a place where Krishna and Balaram regularly had their water pastimes and bathing, like that. Then on the southern side of Nanda Bhavan, there is Yashoda Kund, which was specifically for Mother Yashoda and the ladies. And then we had another place here called Nanda Baitak, which is more like the Chopal, in Gaon, in the small villages, you've got Chopal, where all the elderly, they sit together and they chit chat. In Bengali, it is called Adda, people together, coming together like that. And then on this side, there is a nice place called Charan Pahadi. Charan means feet and Pahad means mountain. And the last one is a place called How below. So we'll come to that one by one. So first, before we start Nandagram, I would like to point out one thing. All the 3 Guna avatars, which is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all the 3 Guna avatars are present in their hill incarnation. All the 3 of them have taken the form of a hill, and they are present eternally in Braj. First one is Vishnu. He is present as Govardhan. Anior. He is present as Govardhan. Second, we understand Lord Brahma, he is present in Barsana as a mountain. And in Nandagram, Krishna's dearmost devotee, Shambhu, Lord Shiva, he is present as a hill in Nandagram. It's got 5 peaks, which signify Shiva's 5 heads. So that's that hill on this side, this Charan Pahad, along with this also a range over here, that denotes the hilly side, but actually this whole center part is a hill. And you could say that the palace is basically the top of the hill. I'll show another photograph which shows how the settlements are around this central palace, and this whole thing is on top of a hill. And that hill is actually an incarnation of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, he wanted, just like Lord Brahma, to actually see and enjoy the pastimes of Krishna, which he performs. This is his Leela with his cowherd boyfriends and the gopis. So he is eternally present in the form of Nandishwar hill. That whole hill is called Nandishwar. And Lord Shiva, there's a story there where I'll not go into the details, but he came there dressed as an old mendicant, and he wanted to see Krishna. And he was having ashes all over his body. And when he knocked the door, you can imagine Ma Yashoda just opened the door and saw this personality, and she said, she knew he's a Baba, but he said, I want to see Krishna. So he said, no, that's okay, you want to see, but Krishna will not be very happy seeing you with all this form. He'll be very afraid. So sorry, I cannot give you his darshan. So like that, he thought that, okay, I will not get darshan now, maybe I'll wait outside. So he waited for a few days still, and then he went after some time and asked Ma Yashoda again. Still she said, no, see, he'll be too afraid looking at you. We can't give you darshan. So Lord Shiva, he left that place and then he went slightly away. And apparently it is said that he is obviously manifested as the hill in that area. And he was hopeful that one day Krishna will exhibit his pastimes and I will be able to see my Lord. So he was always hopeful, and hope in Hindi is called Asha. So his name in this particular area is called Asheshwar Mahadev, and that is his the temple there in Nandagram. So Shiva is there, and now we come to the central part of Nandagram, which it is known for. And sorry, before we come to that place, this is, I just mentioned about Lord Shiva. This is the mountain which he manifested as, and if you see on the right hand side, there is a footmark. Oops, sorry. There's a footmark, and it is said that Krishna was just traversing on this hill one day, and while he was on this hill on the top, Lord Shiva experienced great pleasure. And while he was on top of this hill, Krishna was playing his flute beautifully. And as he played his flute, and as it has happened before also, the stone melted in just the tune of the flute. And when the stone melted, Krishna's foot, which was on the hill, it just left a deep impression. And that impression stayed on. And Shiva was so fortunate that not only have I got darshan of my Lord, I've also got the footmark, impression of the Lord on my head eternally. And likewise, we as devotees always have the feet of Lord Vishnu on our forehead eternally. Of course, we have to, after we take bath, that's why Prabhupada told us we need to put Gopi Chandan, we should put tilak. A head without a tilak, Mahaprabhu says, is no better than a dead body in a samshan, just like a samshan ghat. And that's the place where the foot was, on the left hand side. And then come to Nandagram. So this is what it looks like. Nandagram ki jai. So you see in the center, that is the Nanda Bhavan temple, and from here to there, you can see that's a palace. You see those like fort-like walls. It's not very clear, but you might just perceive that. And the rest, you see that whole hill. It's a whole hill, and this is that Nandishwar hill. And all the residents, they are around the temple. So in traditional Vedic planning, the temple used to be the center of all the settlements. People used to, have their houses around it. And nowadays, what is the center of our settlement? Malls. And in Bengali, you know what mall means? Mall means dirt. I don't want to say anymore. So this is the inside of Nanda Bhavan. And you can see it's a brilliant courts. It's a palace. It's a wonderful palace. I don't know how many of you actually visited Nanda Bhavan or Nandagram. I was fortunate many years back to visit, and it's just amazing. The views from here, as you can imagine, from top of the hill, it's just brilliant and beautiful architecture. That's the entrance. See how exquisite and wonderful it is. So inside that, you see this entrance, and you can see that marble thing behind just as you enter. So that is this temple. That's a main temple in the courtyard of the palace. So this temple has got wonderful deities. It's obviously each temple in Braja is unique. So this has got these deities. So there is Nanda Maharaj on the right hand side. There is Ma Yashoda here. There is Radharani here. And here, I think this is one is Subala and Sridama. And in the middle, as you can see, one is Krishna and one is Balaram. But both of them are exactly the same. Both of them are black. Both of them wear the same dress. Both of them carry a flute. Both of them have got peacock feathers. And in Braj, many people give many reasons. So this is the only temple where Krishna and Balaram are exactly the same. They even are dressed the same way. As you can imagine, both are like twins, like twin brothers. Of course, in one way, we can say that they are twins because Balaram and Krishna were born only 8 days apart or 7 days apart. 8th day Krishna was born after Balaram. So in one way, they are kind of twins. But many reasons, but one of the reasons that we are told is that they came to Nandagram to protect Krishna. And Balaram, being the elder brother, he took it upon him to say, oh, I want to protect my younger brother. So if the demons come to kill Krishna, they'll get confused. Who is Krishna? And that way I'll be able to save my brother. So they are both exactly the same. Just like we've got twin brothers sometimes, and parents, they dress them the same way. They look cute and cuckoo and they're so nice, like that. So here in this temple, they are exactly the same. Next, close to Nanda Bhavan, actually the foothills of Nanda Bhavan is Pavan Sarovar. So this is where we have the Bhajan Kutir of Sanatana Goswami. That's the entrance to Pavan Sarovar, which is the third place that we are covering. And that's the actual Sarovar. So this is where Krishna and Balaram and his cow friends, they used to come and enjoy the water pastimes, take a bath. And likewise, there is Yashoda Kund, which is on the completely other side, you see. So just to keep that difference. There's also a nice, wonderful kund here. So Ma Yashoda used to take her bath over here. Nowadays, we have small spa at home and we feel so proud. In the previous days, the kings or the people who were having authoritative positions, they used to have a full kund to themselves. So imagine that's their private spa. What is there to be proud of? Right. And then we have a wonderful place called Nanda Baitak. So Nanda Baitak is, as I said, it's an extension, although it seems that it is far from Nanda Bhavan, but this distance is not much. So they used to sit here and discuss. And it is said that once there's a story in Nanda Baitak that all the cowherd men, they came together and they were sitting with Nanda Maharaj. And just after they had shifted here. And they were talking among themselves and they were thinking, hey, Nanda Maharaj, hey, this is not right, you see. Krishna is actually not an ordinary boy. You see how he killed Putana, you see how he killed Shatakasur, you see how he killed Trinavarta, and then you don't know, just a few days back, he just went through those 2 trees and the 2 trees came falling down and Krishna narrowly escaped. So he's not an ordinary person. He's an exalted personality. And see how Ma Yashoda treats him. She shows him the stick and then binds him. That's not right, He should not be doing like that. So Nanda Maharaj heard with all amusement. He heard everything. And then he said, see, you people don't really understand who Krishna is. Are you trying to say that he's an incarnation of God? He's a great personality? Okay. If you think that he's a great personality, then let me tell you. We should judge great personalities based on their qualities. For example, great personalities know how to control their senses. Now this Krishna, all day long, he just cannot stop eating. He has no control over his tongue. So he never stops. And you think he's an exalted personality? Okay. Also, exalted personalities never get angry. Now our Kanha, if he finds that some sugar is less in the sweet that is given to him, he becomes so angry, he just starts throwing pots here and there and shouting. And what kind of personality is that? No way he's a great personality. He's just my Kanha. Okay. Big souls are judged by, that they are very honest. What they say, they do. They never say lies. And your Kanha never ever speaks the truth. Even when he is caught red-handed stealing butter from somebody's house and somebody asks him, Kanha, did you steal? He will shake his head and say, no, Baba, I didn't steal. We can see the butter in his hands. He is caught red-handed. He can never say the truth. Not only that, if you find anything in Vrindavan that is stolen, you can be rest assured that it is done by Krishna. So what great personality is he? And then great personalities are supposed to be fearless. This person, this Kanha, this Krishna, whenever there is a thunder and lightning in the sky, he just runs and comes behind the pallu of Mother Yashoda and he's shaking in fear. And then Mother Yashoda has to put him in the lap and then kiss him and caress him and sing, and then he gets pacified. What kind of personality is he? You tell me. And then when he was saying all this, all the people there, they were remembering the pastimes, and they, like how when you contradict somebody in a nice way, you get amused. Oh yeah, actually that's not wrong, but that's not right either. And you start laughing. And they started laughing, and it became a laughter club because one person laughed, then the second person started laughing, and everybody started laughing, and Nanda Maharaj also started laughing, and they were laughing and rolling and laughing and rolling. And we think we are great in starting a laughter club. The first laughter club was started in Nandagram. So this is where it all happened, in the Nanda Baitak. There is also a Kund there, but mainly known for that. And this is where it happened. I don't think the red, the yellow, the white and the blue colors were there in the house at that time. But yeah. And then there is a wonderful place just the south of Nanda Bhavan. So this is a place called Haubilau. And for those of you who have read, you would know, but if you haven't, it's an absolutely interesting pastime. So Krishna, as we know, was very, very interested. He was only looking for having fun with his friends. He used to go along with his cowherd friends. And in Gokul, after they came to Nandagram from Gokul, In Gokul, he was a small boy. He was just a small boy, 3 years, a few months, and he used to only tend cows, the small cows, the baby cows. But after they came to Nandagram, they decided that, oh, Krishna is now growing up. And on the day of Ashtami, they decided that, okay, now Krishna can actually become a Gopal. Like he can take the cows for grazing. So that particular day is even now is celebrated as Gopa Ashtami. So the day Krishna became a Gopal, that happened in Nandagram. So he used to take his cows and he used to come to the bottom of this Nanda Bhavan along with his cowherd boyfriends and used to play. And as you can imagine, children, when they start playing and they love that play, they get engrossed. And then Mother Yashoda, she knew that it's afternoon and Krishna must be really hungry. So she used to call him. And that, Kana, please come. And he said, oh, Mataji, Mata, I'm coming. But he would never, he'll be still playing. And then she'll get even worried that Krishna has had only some little, some little breakfast in the morning. He must be so hungry, so tired. My Kana, he'll faint. And he was so very concerned, like any other mother. And she'll call, and Krishna would still not come. And then she got really, what to do? We used to have this issue with children, even when I was small. We used to have children playing in the roads or at the side of the buildings and playing cricket or things sometimes. And from the balcony in the first floor, second floor, third floor, the parents would shout, hey, come home. And say, yeah, I'm coming in 5 minutes. And you know what that 5 minutes meant? I'm not coming. 5 minutes. Then after 15 minutes, they'll call again and shout and they say, yeah, another 5 minutes. And then again, this goes on until either the parents actually come down, perhaps with a cane. In our times, they used to come with a cane. Nowadays, it doesn't happen. And then the child knows that, okay, now this is serious. I need to go. By that time, already 1 hour has gone in that whole process. So that also comes from Krishna. So Krishna, he was playing and he said, okay, I'm coming, never came. Now, Mother Yashoda was getting upset. And she said, what? How can I get these boys back? So she said, she went to Krishna while he was playing and he said, do you know? Dur khelan na jao, lalan how I. In Braja Bhasha, she said, Dur khelan na jao, that don't go far and to play. Dur means far, khelan na jao, don't go. Why? Lala, how I? How will come and attack you? So Krishna said, Maya, what is this how? He said, see how? My God, this creature is, you've not seen this creature before. He's got this big eyes, yellow eyes, and he's got big nose, and he's got very sharp claws, and he's got such a big mouth that he will eat you up. Krishna said, Maya, I have already killed Putana. I have killed so many demons. But I've never heard of this how. What is this how? Where did you get this how? And Mother Yashoda said, see, this how is a very big creature. He's got big eyes. He's got big nose, very, very sharp claws. And he's got a big mouth. And he loves eating small children. He's going to come and eat you up. Krishna was still not yes. I have not heard of how. You are saying that I've never ever heard of how. My Yashoda said, see, he's got big eyes, he's got a big nose, he's got sharp claws, big mouth which he eats children, and he's going to come and eat you up. And Krishna was still not faced. And then Mother Yashoda just looked behind Krishna and then turned around and started running. How is coming? How is coming? How is coming? How is coming? And she ran towards Nanda Bhavan. And when Krishna saw Mother running so frantically towards Nanda Bhavan, he didn't even look behind to see what is coming. He actually ran behind her. So Ma Yashoda is running in front and Krishna is running behind. And like that, they ran very fast, and they finally arrived in Nanda Bhavan. And there, Nanda Maharaj was waiting for lunch. He doesn't like to have lunch without Krishna. So Krishna came, he sat for lunch, and he said, you know, Baba. He said, what happened? Oh my God, you don't know, Baba, this how Bilau. We just missed. Otherwise, this how would have eaten us up. You just don't know. And Ma Yashoda finally heaved a sigh of relief. Somehow or the other, at least she could convince Krishna that there is a how. There is a demon called how who will come, who has the capacity to come and eat him and at least keep him in control. So obviously, as we can imagine, there was no demon because in Nandagram there is no demons. All the demons are in Gokul. So nothing over here, but there is a conception that there is a demon here, which was more for Mother Yashoda's perspective. So this place is known as how Bilau, because Mother Yashoda just made that up to control Krishna. And apparently there is still a place. So if there's no temple or there's no like structure as such, but there are these stone carved beings which are referred to as the how Bilau, something that Mother Yashoda used to scare Krishna at that point. So we heard of how many places? So we heard of Nandishwar, that Nandishwar Parvat, or the place. Then we heard about Charan Pahadi. Then we heard about Nanda Maharaj's palace and temple. Then we heard about Pavan Sarovar. Then we heard about Yashoda Kund. And the last one was how Bilau. Okay, 6 things, right? I'm not going to take your test, but hopefully you'll remember these 6 things in Nandagaon. And of the 6, at least you'll remember Nanda Maharaj's palace. You'll remember Shivji. And I'm sure you'll remember how Bilau. When I read that, it was just touched my heart. You know, the amusement and the humor in which it was mentioned. And I would recommend all of you to hear the class by Dinabandhu Prabhu. You know, he's in a different class of his own, and the way he describes is amazing. So with that, we understand that there's a nice verse in Bhagavatam of the aspect of hearing. And I'm sure as you heard about these stories in Nandagam, what actually happened? Pravishta karna randhrena swanam bhava saroruham dhunoti shamalam krishnaha salilasya yatha sharat. So the sound incarnation of Krishna, the Supreme Soul, which in this case refers to Srimad Bhagavatam, enters into the heart of a self-realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material association, such as lust, anger, and hankering. It acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water. So I'm sure in this last few minutes that we've been listening to all these pastimes and the places in Nandagaon, these 3 demons, lust, anger, and hankering, they have not touched any one of us. Why? Because we're constantly relishing and allowing Krishna to enter and sit into our hearts through our ears. And we should allow him to do so. So this, in conclusion, hearing about and glorifying the Lord are identical with the transcendental nature of the Lord. And by doing so, one will be always in the association of the Lord. This brings freedom from all sorts of fear. And I thought this is very apt in the condition that we are in the world that we are today with all the pandemic and so on and so forth. That doesn't matter whether we are able to actually go to Nandagram or not, but at least we can relish, we can understand the pastimes, we can hear the pastimes, and we can take the lessons from the pastimes and progress in our own spiritual journey wherever we are. So, yasya smarana matrena Radha Krishna Yaho Ratihi, that even by remembering the Dham, we get all the benefits of actually visiting the Dham. So that will give at least some of the devotees solace, even if they're not able to go, that we spend time, wherever we are, and listen about it. about the activities and the glories of the Dham. So, what is it that we get from here? You see, Krishna, before moving from Gokul to Nandagram, he killed 4 demons. So the residents actually there were attacked by 4 demons. And each one of the demons killed by Krishna signifies a certain vice, a certain anartha. So Putana is deceit, because she came to kill Krishna by deceit. Then we have Shatakasur, which is the bad habits that we have got. It also signifies laziness. And then he also killed the demoniac mentality of the 2 brothers. He demolished their pride, Nalakuber and Manigriv. So we in this material world also are constantly attacked by these demons, is it not? We are being cheated, or we cheat whenever we can. Not that we want to, but it happens. We have bad habits, we have laziness, and we do get proud. So what happens when this attacks us? We all have to move to Nandagram. Only Krishna didn't move from Gokul to Nandagram. We also have to move from Gokul to Nandagram. How? By these 3 things. First, when they went to Nandagram, they were situated on a hill which was already an incarnation of Lord Shiva. So it was protected by the Param Vaishnav, Shivaji. So similarly, our highest goal of human existence is being protected by being in the association of Vaishnavas. So just like how Nandagram was protected by Shiva by being placed on a hill. Why on a hill? Because if you are on the top of the hill, you are protected from things that are happening at the sides. You are at the top, you have a better vision, and you feel more protected. And none other than Shivji was protecting. So definitely it was the biggest insurance that they could have. And as devotees, our biggest insurance, our biggest wealth, our biggest security, our biggest guarantee is the association of Vaishnavas. Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sango, Sadhu Sango, Sarbo Shastre Goy. Lobomatro Sadhu Sango, Sarbo Siddhi. That is the first one. Second, Nandagram was in a grand palace. It was protected, very fortified. So it was on the top of the hill, and then it was fortified. That was made in that particular way to protect Krishna, to protect the residents. So similarly, we also have to guard against the demons of material existence. So just by being in the association of Vaishnavas is very good. But in the association, we cannot become complacent. We have to constantly guard against the anarthas that might arise inside us. So we have to guard against these demons, deceit, bad habits, laziness, and pride. And how do we do that? We do that with a very strong sadhana. Our chanting, our reading of Srila Prabhupada's books, our association with devotees must be very, very strong. Third, all the residents in Nandagram had one common feature. And what was that? They had Krishna as their center. Whatever they did, whatever they thought, whatever they were planning was all keeping Krishna in the center. And as devotees, we have to keep bhakti in the center of our lives. Bhakti meaning Krishna in the center of our lives. But how do we keep Krishna in the center? By keeping bhakti. And bhakti means seva, devotional service. So we have to constantly look for opportunities to perform service, whether at home, whether in the temple, whether virtually. We constantly look for these opportunities. Then we can actually enter into Nandagram's pastimes, and we can be with Krishna just like this throughout our lives. Not waiting till we actually give up this body. Even while we have this body, we be in that consciousness. And that is the main message of Nandagram. So in conclusion, we looked at 6 places in Nandagram, and we took home three things. The three S's, as some of you have discussed with some of you earlier. So three S's: Sadhu Sangha, Sadhana, and Seva. And this is what will capture the attention and attraction of Krishna. And once we have his attention and attraction, we will always remain attracted to Krishna. And none of these material conditions will ever be able to impede us. And that is how the residents of Nandagram always behaved and acted, because they had Krishna in their center all their lives. Krishna Bhagavan ki jai, Shri Shri Nandagram ki jai, Shri Shri Braja Mandal Parikrama ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Thank you very much. Is there any questions, or somebody would like to add something more which I might have missed?
Thank you, Prabhu. Such a wonderful class. You take us the journey of Nandagram. So we just a question. So while Krishna was in Gokul, there's so many demons attacked him. But once they moved to Nandagram, everything seemed to be a very pleasant ride or pleasant state. So how is that Kamsa didn't attack Krishna or his entourage in Nandagram?
Yeah, good question. Not sure whether what was the actual reason, but as we hear from the various pastimes, that this place was specifically protected by Lord Shiva himself. So incarnating as the hill in this area, he was the protector of the dham. Just like we know that when we go for this Braja Mandal Parikrama, also for Navadvip Mandal Parikrama, Shivji is like the protector of the dham. So nobody can enter without Shivji's permission. So on that level we can understand, because and Krishna of course does not need Shiva to protect him from demons. He's the supreme personality of Godhead. But also Krishna wants to give us that lesson in terms of how the association of a Vaishnava is so very important, and it protects us from all the so-called dangers around us in one way. And secondly, it is also significant that they had to go from Gokul to Nandagaon, where Krishna could have his pastimes with Radharani. And at that point of time, you don't want too many disturbances. So from that perspective, one Shivji was personally present, and secondly, he wanted a little bit more time to do these things till he actually goes to Mathura to kill Kamsa. Of course, we do have some other demons happening in the middle of other places, not necessarily Nandagram. So what happened is in Gokul, if you can understand, Acharyas explain, in Gokul, the demons came to Gokul to kill Krishna. But in Nandagram, Krishna went out of Nandagram to kill the demons. So it's not that demons didn't come at all. Like we do have other people, other demons come. Then we have the Talavan episode happening there. So all of these were Krishna going out of Nandagram. And when Krishna went out, that's when the demons attacked. And Krishna dealt with them. Aghasur also. Aghasur was not in Nandagram. He had actually gone out. So because Krishna was big now and he became a Gopal, he actually went out and delivered the demons. Whereas till he was 3 years old and in Gokul, the demons had to come to Gokul to get themselves delivered. Hopefully that answers, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. This was a nice explanation. Wow, amazing. Also, Prabhu, I noticed when you're showing the map of Nandagram, just on the right-hand side was Terka number.
Yes, that's right, Prabhu. Yes, absolutely.
That's where Swarupa Goswami wrote most of the translated literature.
Correct.
It's an amazing place. Once we attended this VIHC course, and they took us there for 64-hour chanting. That's an amazing place, Terka number. Yeah, wonderful place. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for sharing that. Okay, any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhu.
Thank you for wonderful. We are still in Nandagram. We are not in Auckland. We've forgotten we are in Auckland for the last 1 hour. I'm sure the devotees are with me when I say this. Thank you so much. Just wanted to have a clarification. If you could just take us back to that, the first map you showed of Brajadam. Just want to understand where Yavat is geographically in relation to Barsana and Nandagram, please, if it is depicted. Yavat, one before, please, the lotus, I think, yeah, 2 slides. Yeah, this one, Prabhuji. Is there can you spot Yavat somewhere here, Prabhuji, on this one?
There should be. It should be somewhere here. So that's Barsana.
Barsana, yeah. You can see Nandagram on the northern corner. Yeah. Because after the so-called marriage of Srimati Radharani, she was based in Yavat along with Jatila and Kutila.
Yes.
So I just want to get a, Raval, that's where she was born, Raval.
That's where she was born.
On the bottom right.
She came to Barsana, which is here. No,
probably not shown on this map. We can find out.
There's one word which is missing here.
Possible. That's all right, Prabhuji.
I'll see if I can find that. I'll share.
That's all right. And also, if you could please take us to that darshan of the Nandagram temple, please.
Yeah.
I think I just want to share with everybody the other 2 deities on the bottom left. So we saw Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maiya. Then we had Krishna Balaram in the middle. And on the left, we have Srimati Radharani. And then below Radharani, there is 2 deities, 2 small deities. Just want to share that they are actually Rohini and Revati, wife of Balram. And Rohini, of course, mother of Balram.
Right. Okay.
And the other thing I just wanted to remembered was the Pavan Sarovar. The Pavan Sarovar, I just remembered hearing past time of how the name came about, Pavan Sarovar. It was originally called as Nanda Sarovar because Nanda Maharaj used to go there for bathing because Yashoda Maiya had her own kund. So Nanda Maharaj used to come here. So initially it was called as Nanda Sarovar. And one particular day, Nanda Maharaj got up early in the morning and Krishna also got up early and he could see his father getting ready. Nanda Maharaj was getting ready as if he was planning to go somewhere. So he asked Nanda Maharaj, Baba, where are you going so early in the morning? Mummy is packing stuff for you and you're carrying bags. I mean, where are you going? Then he said, oh no, it's just that I'm going to visit all the holy rivers around, outside of Vrindavan. But first I'm going to Nanda Sarovar to have my bath, come back and then leave. So then Krishna said, okay. And Krishna wanted to highlight to Nanda Maharaj that all the holy rivers come and reside in Vrindavan. So when Nanda Maharaj went to Nanda Sarovar, he got down into the Sarovar from one side, had his bath, and he came up, and he had a strange sight. On the opposite side of Nanda Sarovar, he could see all these great personalities coming and having their baths in Nanda Sarovar. And he was amused. He said, who are these people? I've never seen them before in all these days that I've visited Nanda Sarovar. So he went around and approached them and asked them, who are you, by the way, please? So they said, oh, I'm Narmada, I'm Saraswati, I'm Tapti, I'm Godavari, I'm personified. And so Nanda Maharaj asked, so what brings you all here? Oh, no, just that when, all these sinful people come to our rivers, they leave all their sins in our rivers. But where do we get purified? So we all come here to get purified ourselves in Nanda Sarovar. So then he realized that all the holy rivers are right here. I don't need to go anywhere. And because it purifies all the sins, with all the holy rivers being here present in Nanda Sarovar, it was called as Pavana Sarovar from that point onwards going forward. So just I'll share that, Prabhuji.
Good one, Prabhu. Yes, I've heard that story before. But yeah, thanks for adding that.
Hare Krishna.
Great. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, just a question. I'm sorry. Since I'm not so, I don't know, I've never been to Vrindavan. Is Manasi Ganga also present in this region only, or
not here. It's definitely part of Vrindavan, but that is more when we do the Govardhan Parikrama. So at the start of Govardhan Parikrama, we have Manasikanta. That's part of that part. Not here in Nandagram.
thank you, Prabhu.
Braj is actually a very big place. It's like the whole district of Mathura. So if you have to visit all the places, you got to be there for at least a month in Vrindavan.
I've never been there, Prabhuji. So unlucky.
But we've all got the opportunity to go here, and once Krishna believes that he wants to give us darshan over there, we will make arrangements. We just endeavor. Hare Krishna.
Also, it is said that from the top of, those who have visited may already know this. Those who have, if you go to the top of the Nandagram temple, on the the top, there is a walking platform around the top. Pretty much,
Correct.
it is said the whole of Vrindavan can be seen. I have not
Yes.
seen it personally, but I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, of course, up to the horizon. I remember we did see quite a big view.
Quite a
but
far,
at the time we were many years back, so we didn't know all the areas properly. But now definitely, it's a panoramic view of Braj.
Very well. A lot of Gopas also reside around Nandagram. A lot of Gopas.
Yeah, it's still not that, except for the temple here. Other places are not that popular as compared to Vrindavan. So yeah, not much. As you can see, I don't know how old that photo was, but it's still that old rural kind of village kind of look. What Vrindavan is all about, or was all about.
So is this temple the same palace of Nanda Maharaj that used to be, or the palace or this temple is in the place of the palace, original palace? Do we know?
It's in the palace. So the temple is within the palace.
Okay.
It is within the palace, yeah. Most of the things are there wherever the palace or the activity happened. That's where they made the temple. And that's why Prabhupada temples are not just for deity worship emotionally. It is deity worship for education, to understand about the Lord and to serve Him. In that, after we have that information about the Lord, we serve Him with the right consciousness. So that's where all these pastimes in Vrindavan that it happened. There is a temple to signify or to glorify Krishna with that pastime. So the same thing. There's a temple here.
Also, I've heard there is one place with a lot of columns. I don't know whether it's Nandagram temple or in Gokul. You might know perhaps. The columns are actually hanging down from the roof, and there is a gap at the bottom. You can actually slide a piece of paper all the way through. They're not connected to the ground. Have you heard of that?
About this, but I'm not sure which one this is. Yes.
It's either Nandagram or it's Gokul. I'm sure it's one of the two, but I don't know exactly which one. I'm trying to find out myself.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, that I wouldn't know.
It's amazing architecture. Amazing,
Correct.
You have these big, solid columns. And they said there's about 64 of them. And they all have a small few millimeter gap at the bottom. You can actually slide a paper through. And nobody knows how it's held intact,
Might be Gokul.
Gokul,
sure,
yeah,
but it might
possible.
Be might be Gokul.
And these columns are very close to each other.
Might be that.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
All right. So 30, I'll pass it back to Nandagram Prabhu to conclude.
Hey, Hare Krishna Prabhu, on behalf of the devotees here assembled and also on the Facebook Live, really like to thank you for taking us such an amazing 1 hour tour of Nandagram, how Nand Maharaj and the village moved from Gokul to Nandagram, and all the detailed places of interest in Nandagram. As the Prabhu said, like 1 hour away in Nandagram, and with your beautiful visuals and your very good storytelling skills, we were just mesmerized and forgot we are in Auckland. So I would like to thank you very much. And then you gave us a takeaway point, the 3 S's, Sadhu Sang, Seva, and what was the other one? Sadhana, yes. So these are the 3 takeaways. So very easy to remember, 3 S's. S cube. So thank you, Prabhu, for a wonderful class, and we'd like to see you more often on this platform. On behalf of the devotees here, again, thanks very much, and we'd like to see you again. Hare Krishna.
Thank you to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
So next one is in the Singha prayer.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So we have Lakshmi Narsimha Prabhu, who's going to sing Narsingha prayer for us tonight. Prabhu, ready when you are.
Namaste Narasimhaya Praladaladaine Hiranyakashi Shilatankanakalaye Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Bahir Narsimha Hrudaye Narsimha Narsimha Madim Sharanam Prapatye Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuda Shringa